Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah guys. Today we're talking about the Russia and Ukraine crisis. But before saying anything, let's quickly take a look at this right now.
I do not need to elaborate because the articles I have cited speak for themselves and point in the direction of another large-scale war. No country or group should be under illusion that they are safe, because when wars start, they evolve rapidly and often unexpectedly.
Alright guys, so you've seen what's going on all around the world right now. Tensions are high, people are anxious. You can go online right now, let's quickly take a look, right? The Mirror is asking whether this could be the war to end all wars. That is something to worry about. We've got the National World right here, which is talking about whether the UK, where we live right now, whether it will go to war with Russia. And finally, we do actually have the Express talking about what are the safest places to go and live right now. It makes you wonder, it makes you think, am I doing what I actually need to do? You go on social media, you go on the news, and everything is talking about doom, gloom, and the fact that we need to now get ready for a possible global war. And you'll be forgiven for thinking that, you know what, there's no hope, and I'm just gonna sit here and just worry my socks off about this all day, because there's nothing we can do about it. But actually there is something that we can do about it, and we'll come to that in a moment. Now obviously, let's close this for a minute. Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, the worldwide head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, he has a message of hope. The fact that this is still not over. And that's great, because for people like us who are so worried right now, what are we going to do about this? Where are we going to go? This is something that we need to hear. Because through our efforts, we can actually turn this around. And right now, we're actually in Britain's largest mosque, right behind me. Quite peaceful, isn't it? And that's what we want to try and create in the world right now. Now, hold in a minute. It's a little bit too late now, isn't it? The war's on the horizon. Forget the horizon, it's basically here. It's a little bit too late to give this warning. Well, actually, His Holiness hasn't just been giving this warning yesterday or a week ago. He's been talking about this issue for many, many years now. Let's quickly take a look at 2008, that many years ago, and see what His Holiness was saying at that time.
Today, the world sits on the precipice of destruction in this age of nuclear weapons. If these weapons of mass destruction explode, many future generations will never forgive us for having inflicted permanent disabilities upon them. Today, there is still time.
Nobody really talked about it then, and people thought this is some kind of doomsday fairy tale. And only now are people starting to realize that, hold on a minute, this could be a reality. But I'm not going to tell you this, just watch this right now.
For many years, I have warned that the world is moving rapidly towards another world war, and now others are reaching the same conclusion.
So here you have it. In the beginning, no one really batted an eyelid towards the situation. They thought, nah, there's too many other problems in the world. You've got climate change. There were people who were just blaming Muslims for everything. Oh, the Middle East is just causing a facade everywhere. And nobody really wanted to turn towards this issue at hand. Nuclear war could be on the horizon, and His Holiness has been for many years, even after 2008 up until now, talking about the fact that this is a real threat. But at the same time, His Holiness never gave up hope, and he does not want us to give up hope either. As Muslims, we should never give up hope. But of course, His Holiness has been talking about the possible devastation that could occur with this war. And he's obviously been talking about this because he wants people to realize that this could really happen. That's the only thing that's going to make us want to stand up and try and stop it. So what could really happen if this world war broke out? This is what His Holiness has said.
Rather than leaving behind a legacy of prosperity for our coming generations, we will be guilty of leaving behind only sorrow and despair. Our gift to the world will be a generation of disabled children born with defects and intellectual disabilities. Who knows if their parents will even survive to care and nurture them?
So of course, I think there is nobody in their right mind that wants devastation like that to occur on this earth. And if there is, I pray for them to see sense, and I think everybody would pray that they see sense. So back now to the main point. What can we as Muslims do today to try and solve this problem? And that is what His Holiness has also been talking about for a very long time now. Number one, as Muslims, the most powerful tool at our disposal is prayer. Rather than following just the news and worrying about it all day and not really knowing what to do, one thing we can do is we can definitely get on the prayer mat and we can pray to God. The second thing that we can do, but remind everybody that we need to come back to the oneness of God. Tawheed, as we know it in Islam. Unity in God is going to bring people back together. And that's as simple as that. Not only that, when we remember that there's one God, we remember that we are humble. That as powerful as we may think we are, as advanced as we think we've become, there is always a God above us, and we can never be better than that. Now, His Holiness has given a few solutions to the crisis, which we now need to talk about.
Nations should not provoke one another or seek to assert their dominance. Rather, they should engage in diplomacy and try to resolve differences amicably and without needlessly threatening each other. Whilst the primary interest of every nation should be the well-being of mankind and achieving peace, it is a sad truth that business interests and the pursuit of wealth invariably take priority over such concerns.
Every single country needs to put aside their personal national interests, just for the time being. I'm not saying they're wrong, but put them to the side for now, because there is something so much more important on the table right now, and that is the international interest, which is peace. All right, guys, so we've now pretty much summed up kind of what's been going on, the message of His Holiness, and what we can do about that as well. Now, shortly we're going to have the Friday prayers here in Britain's largest mosque. People are going to gather right behind me here, and we're going to, after the prayers, speak to Muslims and ask them what they think that as Muslims they can do to try and resolve this situation which is going around right now. Can we actually do it? Is it a fairy tale? We're going to find that out in the next episode, inshallah, coming tomorrow. We'll see you then. Until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and peace be upon you all.